Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Lean on me. For said it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. We be jamming, 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 we be jamming. Just call me when you need a friend. Call me. Oh, baby, now. Call me when you need a friend. Oh, baby, now. Call me when you need a friend. Oh, baby,
can do better. Let's hear it louder. Welcome on behalf of the Board of Trustees and its president, Charles Boxenbaum, who I regret to advise you is unable to be here because he's out of the city on business. Dr. Paul Cummins, administration and staff, faculty, families, friends, the art of the possible is upon us. That's what Crossroads is all about. Crossroads School of Arts and Sciences was founded as a nonprofit corporation some 16 years ago. It then merged with a local elementary school to become Crossroads, an institution that now is known worldwide. In 1978, this school received full accreditation by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, receiving from that organization a commendation on the nature and quality of its programs. Today, this school holds membership in the National Association of Independent Schools, the California Association of Independent Schools, A Better Chance, and numerous other prestigious organizations. The art of the possible seems to me appropriately a point that I might want to bring to you since we stand under the shadows of the sine wave. I'd like to personally stop and pay tribute to one of Crossroads faculty members who had the artistic introspection, if you will, to come up with such a neat idea. Michael Pester. Let's hear it for Michael Pester. Is he with us? You wonder, what did he mean when he said the art of the possible? When have you gone to a commencement exercise and found that 100% of the graduating seniors are in fact college bound? That's the art of the possible. Now I want to ask him a few questions and sit down and let you get on with the festive occasion. I want to ask the graduating class a few questions. Did Crossroads School offer you a curriculum that stressed academic excellence? Did Crossroads School promote and develop enrichment in your aesthetic appreciation of the arts and imaginative facilities? Right. Were your physical health and dexterities improved as a result of your attendance here at Crossroads School? And I'm certain that your sensitivity and maturation processes were in fact improved. Faculty, friends, and family members, these goals have been met by a fine group of graduating seniors. These goals are part of what we come here for. This is what the trustees are all about. They set these goals, and you heard what the students said. I have been affiliated with this school for 12 years, and I'm going to take rank and privilege as a senior member on the Board of Trustees to acknowledge a personal friend of mine in the audience who is leaving this institution, and a few tears have crept into my eyes. My daughter Tony is a member of the faculty here, and she's leaving to go to Occidental University this September, and she didn't know I was going to do this, but you faculty folks are going to really miss her as much as the students told me they're glad to see her go. When you have seniority, you can get away with that. I think she earned her right on her own. I didn't even know she was hired until Paul called me and told me. With that, On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I give you the possible class of 1987. Congratulations.
Greetings, parents and friends. Over the past 4 years at Crossroads School, my fellow classmates and I have been privileged with what is considered a quote-unquote liberal education. Our intellectual growth has been generously spiced with various levels of political, social, artistic, literary, mathematical, and scientific thought. Our values and ethics should have been influenced by the spectrum of learning, and it is from these modes of thought that our passions were to be developed from its primal stages and nursed through 4 years of high school. However, this educational standard of diversity in which Crossroads upholds is not lacking contradiction, as we were not nursed in a community of perfectly balanced proportions. The intellectual diversity which was offered us was not quite met with economic and ethnic diversity in the student body. For the predominance of Crossroads students are, truthfully, of white upper middle class stature. Like proper liberal students should, taking into account this imbalance, we were taught to question and probe the polarities of concepts and teachings which we ingest. While, for instance, Marxist ideology is taught into classrooms of eager students, and our community service classes attempt to bring us closer to our immediate and often less fortunate community, our alley is sprinkled with expensive automobiles of high social status, given or borrowed from extremely affluent parents. This is the point where a liberal education backfires. It undermines itself when the student takes what is taught for granted, failing to execute or come to terms with principles by denying their relevance. With liberality, however, Crossroads inspires yet another dimension in the education of its students, and that is passion. Without passion, what we have been taught can only be dismissed and ignored. Lacking passion, we cannot interact with the concepts and teachings with which we are presented. Passion forces us to look at what is dark and disturbing within ourselves, our culture, and our surrounding environment. What Crossroads has encouraged us is a passion unmanufactured and raw, spurred by the teachers, but conceived only within the student. It is a risk that Crossroads takes in supporting this educational philosophy, and it relies only on the student body for an innate passion and drive. So I salute Crossroads and its faculty for providing the means for this intellectual unwrenching, always encouraging those students who are willing to face the imbalances and contradictions of both themselves and the environment. Thank you.
Yes, you can have it all. I borrowed that slogan from a beer commercial. I'm not sure exactly what it means. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty much convinced it doesn't mean anything at all, but it sounds good, and that's the important part. I want you to hold that thought for a second, because America has a problem. I've been told that America's problem is that it harbors no religious convictions, but I don't buy it for a second. America is among the most religious countries in the world. No country dedicates as much of its resources, natural and human, to its church. Sorry about that. It happens to the best of us, you know. But our faith is so strong that every U.S. newspaper has a section dedicated to the changing face of our Messiah. It is the business section. I was at a job interview a few days ago, and I met a girl. She was filling out her application for the job, and under the section where it asked for her college major, she wrote psychology with a business emphasis. Yeah, well, I had a similar reaction, and I asked her about it because I couldn't possibly imagine what that meant. And what she said to me was the following, that she loved psychology, but she knew she was going to want money, and the only way she could guarantee that was to take psychology with a business emphasis. Well, I mean, I guess that answered my question, but it implied a few more. What is this obsession with money that we have suddenly found ourselves with? Why us? I think it has to do with our conditioning. If we look at our children, they spend most of the formative years of their life in school, being taught to add and subtract. But if you ask an 8-year-old what it is they like to do, it's not going to be addition or subtraction. They're going to tell you about television. On television, that's where they learn about life and what it's supposed to be about. And they learn about it from Dynasty and lifestyles of the rich and famous. And in between those things, they also learn interesting facts like Coke is it. What does that mean? I want to know. They also learned that although Circuit City is the intelligent choice, that Pepsi is the choice of a new generation. How they reconcile these things, I will never know. But the fact of the matter is they do and they must, because they have to succeed in American society. On a sad note, I think that the seeds of the pre-professionalism that runs rampant through the American college system are set way before we stop watching cartoons. But that's a bit misleading, because it suggests that the conditioning stops at that point, which it in fact does not. Let us not forget, you can have it all. That's from a beer commercial aimed at people 21 and up. That's supposed to sell beer. I don't understand it, but apparently it works, because people spend billions to find out what it is that's going to sell beer, and apparently that's it. The LA Times says, "We're there for you every day," as if every other daily newspaper in the US wasn't. But it sells newspapers, and that's the important part. We are living a cliche, and that is sad. My point is not that we have been sold useless products, because certainly it doesn't really matter whether or not we bought Coke because Coke was it, or if we bought Pepsi because it was the choice of a new generation. There has to be something more serious, and in fact there is. We've been sold something that is an artificial reality. We've been sold something that 30 years ago was called the American Dream. It had to do with a house with a white picket fence. I believe it was a 2-car garage, and maybe there was a swing in the front yard with a dog. But it's changed a bit, because now it's no longer just a house. It's a big house. And it's no longer a 2-car garage. It can be anything you want, especially if you can afford the ultimate driving machine, a BMW. You laugh now, but wait. The fact of the matter is that I think I've overcomplicated it. It's really just a game, and the goal is simple. It's to see how many zeros you can amass before the decimal point in your income. That's all it is. And the BMWs, they're just symbols of your score, so the rest of the world can know exactly how well you're doing. I don't know about this. This is the world that the class of '87 is going to head off into. And there's a question. We've been told by everything we've seen up till now that money equals happiness. And if that's in fact true, what we must assume is that the more money you have, the happier you're going to be. So there is no end. A man with $1 million can certainly want two. Is that not correct? We are going to be the next generation of people in the colleges, and we have to decide where it is we're going to head. Is it going to be to the almighty MBA, or are we going to be doing things that are going to last for generations to come? Certainly the Ivan Boskis of the world have not been the ones to contribute. It's been the people like the teachers you see here who are making less than $30,000 a year. The irony is that, just like all the other meaningless slogans, the equation that happiness equals money comes with no guarantees. All too many Americans have gone through a midlife crisis where suddenly they realize that all they've amassed is money, and that it really doesn't make much difference, because there's nothing that says a rich man is happier than a poor man. You are the parents, and I have to look out at you and wonder, because you were the children of the '60s. You were the beatniks and the hippies, and you stood here and said what I'm saying to you now. And now what's happened? Where have all the hippies gone? They've gone to yuppies everywhere. Yes, the class of '87 heads off into a world with 1 million possibilities, but 1 million should not be the key number. The point is that we have to make a choice. Are we going to be satisfied with the ultimate driving machine, or are we going to want something more? Is there going to be a legacy for our children other than the deficit, or do we have something to offer them? Thank you.
before you came into my life. It was some kind of miracle that I survived. Someday we will all look back and have to laugh. We lived through a lifetime and the aftermath. This is the time to remember, 'cause it will not last forever. These are the days to hold on to, 'cause we won't, although we'll want to. This is the time. The times are gonna change. You've given me the best of you, but now I need the rest of you.
Sometimes it's so easy to let a day slip on by without even seeing each other at all. But these are the days you'll look back to, and so will I.
But those will be days you can never recall.
And so we leave each other, it is true. This place is so warm on winter afternoons. But holding you close is like holding the summer sun. I'm one with the memories of days to come.
This is the time to remember, 'cause it will not last forever. These are the days to hold on to, 'cause we won't, although we want you. This is the time. The times are gonna change. You're giving me the best of you, but now I need the rest of you. This is the time. The times are gonna change. You're giving me the best of you, but now I need the rest of you.
Good morning, everyone. It's my deep pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker today. Dr. Herbert Zipper is a close friend of mine and occupies a special part of my life in that I've spent a great deal of time during my sabbatical and am still working on writing a biography of his remarkable life. Herbert Zipper was born in Vienna in 1904, in the last years of the Habsburg Empire, was educated in Vienna in music, as a composer and conductor, secured his first job as a conductor in Germany in the early 30s, had to come back to Vienna because of the rise of Adolf Hitler, and in 1938, when Austria was invaded, was sent with his brother to Dachau and then transferred to Buchenwald. While in Dachau, organized secret concerts, composed music, and managed to get hold of instruments secretly, and organized concerts in the latrines for the other prisoners to keep their spirits up. Managed to get out of Buchenwald through a complicated immigration process at a time when that was still possible. Found his way to Manila, where he became the conductor of the Manila Symphony Orchestra, and when the Philippines were invaded, was put back in prison. Was released, worked for the underground in the Philippines, conducted the celebration of the liberation of the Philippines by conducting a remarkable concert in a bombed-out church in Manila. Came to America, has been responsible here for the co-founding of many different community schools of the arts, and now at 83 is preparing to go to China for the 5th time this September to help the Chinese learn about Western music. Has more energy on a slow day than I think most of us do on our best days. It is my deep privilege to introduce to you Dr. Herbert Zipper.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cummins. Ladies and gentlemen, young friends, it was in 1955 that I addressed the last time a graduating high school class far away, high up in the mountains of northern Luzon in the Philippines at the Brent School, an excellent American high school. Yes, it was in June of 1955, in the same year and possibly on the same day when your headmaster too graduated from high school. Somewhat belatedly, congratulations, Dr. Cummins. Young friends, you are stepping now into adulthood, preparing for the 21st century. You are going to face a future that is very different from that which the bright young people at Brent School had to face more than 30 years ago, before the advent of Sputnik. And what was in store for me when I was at your age 66 years ago was an entirely different world. Let me give you a glimpse of this world so that you may sense the breathtaking acceleration of the forces of change on which you too will have to ride like on a wild horse that I hope you will help to tame. So allow me to recall the world in which I grew up as a child, marveled at the miracle of Marconi's wireless telegraphy, a time when gaslight began to be replaced by electrical light, when we children were running to the windows at the sound of an approaching automobile, that noisy, evil-smelling contraption that went under that name. The first flying machines, the Zeppelin, and later the radio. First those little crystals with a needle on top, probing until the earphones transmitted miraculously cracking music and speech. The first phonographs, the wire recorder, the tape recorder, the cassette recorder, refrigerators, washing machines, and all the paraphernalia of modern living. Television, video, calculators, copy machines, computers, the atom monster, and man in space. What a century! But it also produced a great deal of junk and garbage. That ship heavily laden with refuse that recently was not allowed to land anywhere. Like the cursed Flying Dutchman's ship, is symbolic of the dark side of our century. A century which also produced 2 endless world wars and many minor ones. A century in which humanity visited upon itself unspeakable crimes and the most cruel bestiality on a scale the vastness of which remains incomprehensible, a scale never known before, and it still continues in some parts of the world today. This century produced a giant industrial civilization that also caused the alienation of people from each other and largely deprive them of the satisfaction derived from accomplished tasks. The great benefits of this industrial civilization are now threatened to be outweighed by even greater concomitant dangers. I am referring to this country's positive achievements as well as to its sinister sides in order to focus your attention on the inherent dichotomy within the human personality, which after all is the cause of all life-threatening conflicts. I feel that it is this dichotomy that deserves priority consideration from the young generation. I believe that the dark side of our being can be universally controlled by its open recognition, honest self-examination, and scientific study of its presence in all of us. However, I am not an expert. I have only questions and no answers to offer. So allow me to raise a few that I feel today are pertinent ones. The arts, to which I devoted a great deal of my life, in past centuries have been created with reference to universally accepted standards. Those standards were altered according to the prevalent spirit and taste of the times. They still remain as a guide for artistic and technical value judgments for artists and laymen alike. Today, I know of no such standards for the creative arts to which one can refer. Everyone, it seems, does his or her own thing. The question is whether it is this absence of standards that led most of contemporary art to alienate itself from the public, and whether there will be a need again to define universally acceptable criteria. A similar question must be asked in regard to science. Of course, pure science, that is the universal search for truth, ought to remain free from any non-scientific interference. But in regard to applied science and to technology, we must ask whether they ought not to be subject to stringent ethical considerations. Let me illustrate this with one example. During the past 30 years, largely thanks to the effort of the United Nations World Health Organization, the life expectancy in many developing countries has dramatically increased. As compared to the past, it has added in some countries 20 to 30 years to the life of its people, and has contributed to the population growth more than their birth rate. With the exception of modern China, this great achievement of the medical sciences has not been accompanied in most of these countries by a simultaneous attention to a similar improvement of the quality of life. The result today in many countries is a prolonged existence in much greater misery for all. Therefore, the question must be asked, should our impatience, our greedy expectations for immediate gratification and returns remain unchecked? Shall we let applied science and technology run along unrestrained without questioning before any major decisions are made, whether in the long run they will be advantageous or may be harmful to humanity? To do or not to do, that is the question. Another question that needs to be addressed is whether unrestrained competition, which might be called the survival of the shrewdest, is the best way how to run our affairs, including the domestic and the world economy, or whether regulated cooperation would not be a more preferable, less stressful, and more humane approach. Also, whether the currently fashionable trend toward deregulation may not eventually lead to chaotic jungle conditions, such as would occur, for instance, if we were to shut down all regulating traffic lights in Los Angeles. The unquenchable curiosity of man has sent him into outer space. I don't intend to discuss here the exploration of distant planets and galaxies and the emerging, intriguing new theories regarding the origin of the universe. Nor do I want to touch upon the usefulness of the various hardwares that are being placed into orbit. Much of it anyway is beyond my understanding. But what made the unforgettably lasting impression on me, and maybe on all of humanity, possibly subconsciously only, was the stunning sight of our planet Earth. Seeing it from the outside, from way yonder, could we for the first time grasp the totality of our planet. For the first time did we become fully aware of its uniqueness among all celestial bodies, its exquisite beauty, and the fragility of its atmosphere. That sight gave us a new perspective of the world in which we exist, in which all of us everywhere have an equal share. More than all the admonishing warnings of ecologists, environmentalists, and biologists, this magnificent sight made us fully appreciate how delicate our planet's surface and its atmosphere is, and our responsibility to maintain its integrity for the sake of all living things. The question ought to be asked, should we not place on top of our immediate agenda, way into the 21st century, the promotion of a world authority, a custodian of our planet that with global executive power supersedes parochial national interests and safeguards the inviolateness of our planet and the survivability of all its people, of all living matter. Roll up your sleeves, young friends, and face the future, the 21st century, with courage, determination, and joy, because no other century before presented so many formidable, all-encompassing, and thrilling challenges. Put to shame the old cliché that history always repeats itself. This is just a euphemism that stands for the belief in the sovereignty of human stupidity. Give help, young friends, so that for once the forces of wisdom can prevail victoriously over the forces of greed and stupidity, because more than ever it is only wisdom that can safeguard the survival of the race. The words defeatism, discouragement, pessimism, and despair should have no place in your vocabulary. And beware and immunize yourself against the ever-present danger of being manipulated by the self-seeking practitioners of manipulation, politicians, news media, and, yes, preachers, the self-appointed Savonarolas of our time. And always remember, to be a good and law-abiding citizen is not enough. Now more than ever, we have to be good ancestors. Good luck and thank you.
We would like at this time to acknowledge those members of this year's graduating class who have distinguished themselves in various areas of endeavor, academically, athletically, artistically. I will read the names. I would ask, when I read your name, if you would stand, please. I would ask the audience that we hold our applause till the end. This year, we had 2 National Merit finalists, Philip Abramowitz and Andy Gus. Okay. Andy, come on. Oh, sorry. I would like to ask these people, when I call their names, to stand and remain standing, if you would. National Merit semifinalist, Peter Mandel. Arthur Tuller Award for Achievement in Mathematics to Pamela Katz-Roston and Philip Abramowitz. Computer Science Award to Eben Paxton. The J.M. Edelstein Award for Achievement in English to Kron Vollmer. The Alton Beck Memorial Award for Excellence in Writing to Matt Nassiter. Richard Levinson Award for Excellence in Creative Writing. Oh, I'm sorry, that previous one was Matt Nassiter and Kron Vollmer. For Creative Writing, Heather Hain. The Great Books Tutorial Award, Matt Nassiter, Michael LaBeouf. The Rhoda K. Makoff Award for Outstanding Achievement in Science to David Posner. Outstanding Student in French, Julie Yanata. Outstanding Student in Spanish, Yoon Chun, Gabby Banks. Outstanding Student in Latin, Alexandra Marshall, Danny Nagan. Outstanding Vocal Development, Naomi Kukoff. Most Outstanding Choral Musician, Berkeley Price. Outstanding Senior Artist, Andy Goldman. Toby Ann and Shirley Garber Drama Award, Jack Black. Ben Roberts Award for Writing in Drama, Brian Russo. Eleanor Edelstein Award in Community Service, Joanna Reines. 12th Grade Community Service Achievement Award, Hillary Harris and Tim Siegel. Outstanding Communications Award, Brett Morgan. Senior Athlete, Roxanne Owens. Senior Athlete, Todd Marshall. Scholar Athlete, Gabby Banks. Scholar Athlete, Michael LaBeouf. Geraldine Sherman Award, Kron Vollmer, Kim Wood. Senior Service Award, Andy Goldman, Ellen Umansky. And the Crossroads Achievement Award to Carol O. To all of these and to the graduating class, please, a big round of applause.
Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce a leading authority of our time, noted for his profound commitment to scholarship, to the rigors of the life of the mind, his passionate devotion to literature with particular prominence in the field of medieval Chinese poetry, just having returned from a year's research grant at the University of Padua, Dr. William Thomas Wheatley, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, parents, students, faculty of Crossroads School, it is my pleasure to confer upon you this first ever Crossroads Honorary Diploma.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I want to talk about man's I want to talk about man's position in the universe. I want
want you all to know how much this diploma means to me. This is a program. This is not a diploma. I never received a high school diploma because I skipped the 10th, 11th, and 12th grades, so to say. Actually, I didn't attend classes at that time for various reasons. I didn't like books, and also I was a bit older than most of the other high school students. I was 36. But I was real popular as early as the 4th grade because I was the only one with a car. I didn't actually start higher education until I was 31. I spent a lot of time driving my dad's car, a 58 Plymouth Valiant with a bad ignition problem. So I was a slow starter. So, any of you slow starters out there, take heart. Donna Rice did. For a while, I drove a taxi, then a delivery van, then a bus. I kept moving to bigger things. But it wasn't till I got a job driving a semi-truck for Arco Petroleum that I really caught fire. I remember it to this day. I'd run out of gas on a hill as I was passing Sacramento State College, so I got on my truck and looked around, and suddenly it hit me. What am I doing here, I asked myself. I want to get ahead. So I walked right into that college and signed up. I never looked back. I was sued by the Arco Petroleum Company. But I never looked back. I went to SSC, and I never missed a class, nor was I late one single day. Not one day. Of course, my grades were lousy, and I flunked out. But I didn't let that stop me. I went straight to Governor Reagan's mansion and offered my services as a chauffeur. I didn't get the job, but I did get a job in the basement of the mansion, shredding some old papers. If at first you don't succeed, huh? Well, I applied again to Sacramento State Night School under an assumed name, Dr. Paul Cummins. I was accepted. Yes, night school. Night school. That's how hard it was for me. But did I let that stop me? Yes, I did. It was just too hard. I left the country. I went to the University of Peking to major in English. I was accepted as a minority student. Today, just think about that. Today, Saturday the 13th. That's better than Friday the 13th. I've strayed from my subject, which, oh yes, man's place in the universe. Yes. Well, you kids have the world by, at your feet. But what a world, huh? As Ronald Reagan said in Berlin this morning, Ich bin ein Berliner. It's not original, but it has a kind of bite. And yesterday he said, tear down these walls, or the wall, or something. And that's what I hope you kids do today. Yes, you kids have been through the blood, sweat, and tears this year. Mustard, the Grateful Dead, which reminds me of what Bobby said when he returned to Dallas. Thanks. Payne Weber. Christopher Columbus did not believe that this planet was flatulent. He had vision. Margaret Thatcher's vision of a bipartisan, bituminous, and bisexual government brought her victory. Tammy Baker has a vision and a shopping list of cosmological proportions. But perhaps Vanna White pulled it off best when she said, "One good turn deserves a lot of money." After all, life is a wheel of fortune. Thank you.
Executive Vice President Travis, Headmaster Cummins. Gives me great pleasure to present to you to receive their diplomas of graduation from Crossroads School, the class of 1987. Philip Prep Abramowitz, diploma cum laude. Matthew David Bailey. Gabrielle Monique Banks, diploma cum laude. Aaron Palmer Berkson. Karen Brooke Bernkrant. Thomas Jacob Black. Jennifer Brody. Christopher Davis Brown. Bonnie Marie Berlin. Yoon W. Chan, diploma cum laude. Daniel Jeremy Cosgrove. Shannon Elizabeth Daly. Stephanie Daniel. Tessa Carmen DeRoy. Carl DeStefano. Raquel Wright DeZone. Jesse Hoshea Engel. Jason Edward Frankel. Jeffrey Fu. Thomas Benton Gallagher. Nyla Ganatra. Tina Ishan Gilmore. Amy Goldman. Andy Mitchell Goldman. Nicholas Soren Goodich. Jody Lynn Gorin. Andrew Ryan Gross. Andrew Daniel Goss. Hillary J. Harris. Evan Philip Hartzell, diploma cum laude. Diane C. Haspel. Heather Elizabeth Haying, diploma cum laude. Kirby Keck Hopkins. Anna Herr, diploma cum laude. Craig E. Isaac. Kerry Michael Johnson. Christian Jory. Takahiro Katsunuma. Zain Ali Khan. Nicole Alexandra Cram. Naomi Kukoff. Leslie Ann Liner. Michael Leon LaBeouf, diploma cum laude. Janine Danielle Letterman. Sang Hoon Lee. John Richard Linson. Andrew Mark Lipman. Ethan Jeffrey Lodwick. Justin Rome Lubin. Anne-Marie Malik. Peter Edward Mandel, diploma in absentia. Shanna Margolis. Eric Brian Markman. Alexandra Marshall. Todd Adam Marshall, diploma cum laude. Nina Marsnick. Chris Melliton, diploma in absentia. Elizabeth Ann Mindell, diploma in absentia. Rebecca Miserowski, diploma cum laude. David Brett Morgan. Wendy Morner. Lisa Moradian. Daniel Lewis Nagan, diploma cum laude. Matthew Aaron Nassatir, diploma cum laude. Garth Conrad Norman. Laura Norton. Jeremy Oshman. Carol O, diploma cum laude. Roxanne Karen Owens. David Park. Joshua Barron Paul. Eben Paxton. Cheryl Elise Pearlstein, diploma cum laude. Josh Piha. David John Posner, diploma cum laude. Berkeley Allen Price. Corey Radish, diploma cum laude. Joanna Reines. Jason Ian Robman. Carla Marie Rowley, diploma cum laude. Pamela May Katz Roston, diploma cum laude. Brian Lee Russo. Adam Scott Ruderman. Sean Leo Ryan, diploma in absentia. Timothy John Siegel. Jonathan Edward Silverblatt. Arnell Lorraine Simpson. Julianne Jian Song. Jessica Alexandra Swernoff. Keith Thompson. Ellen Sarah Umansky, diploma cum laude. Zachary Bernard Valenzuela. Kron Volmer. Matthew Ryan Walshin. David Michael Weinrott. Brett Samuel Weinstein. Jess Weinstein. Edward Sean Wheatley. Shannon Deirdre White. David Charles Wolf. Kimberly S. Wood. Julie Ann Yanada, diploma cum laude. Stephanie Lynn Zane, diploma cum laude. The class of 1987.
After that revelry, we have just a couple more moments of seriousness. I want to congratulate the class of 1987. In about 5 minutes, you will join us as alumni. And all the memories of this year, the state championship, the CIF championship, the cabaret, the drama productions, the superb art shows, literary magazines, all of the classes that you've taken, all of your relationships with your teachers, your One Voice concerts, all of your contributions, not only to the school but to the larger society, will all become wonderful memories. And you will join many other classes as the alumni of Crossroads School. We hope that the expressions of gratitude that have been made on your behalf by your classmates today and your own private expressions of gratitude will not be forgotten, and that you will continue throughout the years to support your school. That is not a pitch for alumni giving. It's a pitch for something else. That as you move on, you become your best selves. You do as your speakers have exhorted you today, and that is you try to make this precious planet of ours a better place to live in. And so, by so doing, you will so honor the efforts of your teachers, your parents, and your friends. I want to conclude by reading the final 2 stanzas of a long poem of W.H. Auden, titled September 1939. All I have is a voice. to undo the folded lie, the romantic lie in the brain of the sensual man in the street, and the lie of authority whose buildings grope the sky. There is no such thing as the state, and no one exists alone. Hunger allows no choice to the citizen or the police. We must love one another or die. Defenseless under the night, our world in stupor lies. Yet dotted everywhere, ironic points of light flash out wherever the just exchange their messages. May I, composed like them of eros and of dust, beleaguered by the same negation and despair, show an affirming flame. Congratulations to you.
us need each other more. So and we'll reach we had to reach before, and it only makes us need each other more. There's room to touch and room to teach. It isn't much, but it's room to reach and just enough to need each other, just enough to need each other
just might find you get what you need. Oh, baby, yeah. Oh, I went down to the Chelsea drugstore to get your prescription filled. I was standing in line with Mr. Jimmy. Man, did he look pretty ill? We decided time. It's just my spine. It's just my